how's your dispatch? How's the dispatch set up? And what's a stride?
For the city of Superior, we have one vehicle that's available. About probably a third to 40% of the trips are what we would call those subscription trips, meaning those are trips that people essentially have made long in advance and are an everyday type of trip. Somebody going to work, somebody going to the Challenge Center, those types of things.
Right.
So those types of trips kind of focus which way that vehicle is going to move. And they basically take up, again, between a third and 40% of the service here in the city of Superior. So 7 days out, then, we start taking calls, and it's basically a first basis. You know, so if there's a trip opening between 9:30 and 10 or whatever, and someone calls from Eloise going over to the clinic in Duluth or going to Walmart, that determines where that bus is going to go. The next person that calls, if they're going the same direction at the same and want the same time, if that works, they're added onto the trip. If they had a whole different origin and destination that doesn't match, then we can't make the trip, and we try and offer whatever is available as close to those times as we can. But with one vehicle, you get pretty well guided one way or the other.
Okay, that's not what the, I'm not supposed to hear it. That's not what the EPE says. It's saying, it says comparable to the fixed line route. And just because there's a guy sitting over here on Tower Avenue, but the other guy over here on Hammond Avenue is going to be able to get a bus at the very same time. Okay, my question is, how is it possible to get more than one bus service or better dispatch service with you guys?
At this time, you know, and this is real simple, our denials are not huge, and we do not see the need and do not have the financial background to add an additional bus into the system.
Your denials ain't huge in Superior?
They are not. I would suspect that for the calendar year, we're sitting probably with 60 or 70 total denials in both cities, and probably 20 of those are on this side of the bay, and the rest are on the Duluth side. I don't think we're much higher than that right now. So,
For you?
yeah, and at the same time, I don't think we have the budget capacity to increase where we are. We have an established budget approved by the City of Superior in this case. We don't have authorization to exceed that budget.
You had a question, Sam?
No.
Oh, right here.
Oh, yeah, I think it's only right what I was going to ask. It's kind of a two-part question, Jeff. What would the criteria would ETA Stride need, and what would the City of Superior have to do to expand service?
Yeah, I think there's different ways of expanding services here too. You know, one of the things that we've done in the last year, is just coordinate more with the senior buses, so we swap trips back and forth. You know, the more we can do those types of things to maximize both services, the better off we both are. That's been a real asset for us. Obviously, we went to a computerized scheduling system better than 10 years ago. That probably increased our capacity by 10 and 15% on the side of the way. Because it allowed the computer to think faster than what our schedulers do. So we are able to match up those trips better. In terms of generating additional dollars, I think that's a real tough situation right now. As you saw by the charts, a majority of our subsidy dollars come from the states on both sides of the way. The state plays a large role in these transportation services. And both of the states, as you've heard, you know, are facing significant deficits. You don't see the states coming forward with more money. Because the states don't have more money, a lot of different programs, not just transportation, are being scaled back, and that's putting more pressure again on the city budgets. And I don't see the city really being able to fund all the things that the state can't fund.
Can I ask a question about the stimulus package? Why are we getting the money for capital improvements up here, like another bus?
On the Duluth side, we are getting money. On the Wisconsin side, and this just goes to a difference between the two systems, the City of Superior probably is benefiting significantly from Duluth being larger. The vehicles that operate here in the city of Superior are purchased basically with Minnesota generated federal dollars and Minnesota generated local share. If we had money to operate an additional bus on this side of the street, it would be made available. We have the capital to operate additional buses. We do not have the operating dollars to offer additional services.
And that would be the city of Superior's decision.
And the state of Wisconsin.
Have you had any discussion with Senior Connections about their handicap accessible vans or bus that we now have to assist in any of the things that you are not able to take care of?
Especially when I think Brad Beckman was working over on the side of the bay. That's where we established a lot of our coordinative services with the senior groups. And we still are doing a lot of that coordination with some of the groups. I'm not sure if that's one of them or not.
Luann?
I don't think there's been any formal. I think consumers do that on their own.
Yeah.
They, you know, if they know about our service.
Just because of the fact that this gentleman back here has not been able to get the service between 7 and 9 a.m. because of the already inaccessible time for you to use Stride. Is he able to use?
He has our service.
Yeah.
After some other kind of things that we had to tweak, he has been using our service. We try to accommodate when possible.
That was my other comment since you brought it up. Okay, and I'm not trying to be ridicule or nothing like that. How come the senior connection service, sorry to say it, but totally outweighs Stride as far as accessibility, as far as hands down? I'm you know, to call him up, I can get a ride, you know, no problem. And there's no denials, there's nothing, everything goes straight, goes smooth. But to call Stride up, it's completely, something's broken in the system. And I just don't understand, I don't understand why.
Sometimes I think it's the times that you're interested in traveling. We have a different type of person that's calling us for different types of needs. I think with the seniors, it's more of a midday program than it is an early or late program.
And we do have some restrictions. You've been lucky because we've had openings at that time. I mean, we have 2 vans that operate. So that, again, doubles kind of the accessibility, but we also have, you know, guidelines that we only run from certain hours of the day to certain hours of the day. And if there's not an opening, we will try to accommodate you if we can change your time, but we still have some of the same restrictions as Stride does. But we will try to accommodate the ride if we can.
What I was doing, I was calling Stride first, and then using you guys as backup. You know, and then that's how I was doing it. Yeah. I'm just saying.
And the trip gets made, which is the good part.
I'm glad there's something else there.
What is the biggest obstacle to growing Stride?
I think we've already talked about dollars already. You know, I mean, everything costs money, and where does that money come from? And right now, there's just a lot of pressure on those operating dollars. No matter what service, social service, or anything that's being talked about right now,